And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Washington Wrestle Talk podcast. I am your host, the Oddity, Mike Jolly here. It is currently a beautiful evening here in Vancouver, Washington. It's about 79, 80 degrees here still. I'm going to be joined here in just a few minutes by my two special guests tonight. Of course, Mark from BrutalBeauties.com. One of his featured fighters, Kat, or as I like to call her, 1/3 of the Pittsburgh Power Trio. Just a quick news update here. Looks like Takeover Cardiff, set for next Saturday, has sold out. It will be competing directly against the AEW pay-per-view. So that's going to be interesting to see how many fans tune in to NXT UK Cardiff or AEW's pay-per-view. In other news, the long-rumored, I don't know how you would say this, but the long-rumored love life, I guess, of WWE stars Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins took a turn yesterday when Becky Lynch took to Twitter and posted a picture of her and Rollins on a beach with a ring emoji, which means he has proposed to her, and she did say yes. So let's check out the Twitter feed here. And just Steve Doran. Thank you, Steve, for listening, and thank you for retweeting all of my tweets. I'm going to let my guests know that I am ready to rock and roll here. And let's see, what else is going on in the world of professional wrestling? The King of the Ring tournament has started. They brought it back after a hiatus. I believe, who was it that won it last time? Was it Wade Barrett that won it last time? And that was in 2015? I'll have to check my sources on that one. Definitely will look into that. Looks like we're having some minor difficulties with with one of the guests here. Hopefully it'll get fixed here in a few minutes, because I can only go on talking for so long. It's about just absolutely nothing in general. But other than that, it's been a pretty good week here. Of course, we're going to be talking about September 15th. Of course, the big fight that we have for Brutal Beauties. And there's going to be some surprise announcements here. And of course, in case if you missed my last episode, I now have the Washington Wrestle Talk official website. You can go to www.washingtonwrestletalk.com. Right now, it just has a list of all my guests that I've had. It has a link to the iHeartRadio page for me. It also has a link to the Spreaker page for me. And thank you, Clement, for liking the fact that I'm on the air right now. You are a true gentleman and scholar, sir. I tip my hat to you. Well, dang. I mean, this is, I promised to have two guests on the show tonight, and we're still, we're almost 5 minutes into the show, and nothing is happening yet, but that's okay. I mean, that's all good. We're golden here, right, guys? So, a few of you have sent in your questions for my guest tonight. And it's going to be kind of an interesting forum for both guests, Mark and Kat. So once we get all the details ironed out here, we'll get on with the show. I do want to announce that on September 1st, I will have Maxine Stryker as a guest on my show. So if you have any questions for Maxine, go ahead and email them to me at WashingtonWrestleTalk@gmail.com, and I will read them on the air for you. And I will also, read them on the air so she can answer those questions for you. So it's going to be, the next week or so is going to be kind of a blur, really. Because here we are at the end of August, and the NFL season's starting. College football starts tomorrow, so I know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Watching some college football, maybe having a couple beers. Who knows? But no beer tonight, because right now I'm drinking this delicious Propel Lemon electrolyte water beverage. Cheap plug for Gatorade's Propel. That's kind of like when Mick Foley used to do cheap pops back in the old WWE days. So I'm just looking through the questions that you guys sent in for the guests tonight. However, Clement, one of the questions you asked has the wrong month in it. So the fight that Kat had with Sarah was in July, not in August. So I'll have to do a correction on that. But hey, no worries. And then another listener sent in 4 questions. Oh, wait, no. If you count them, really, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 from another listener. And then, of course, there's this one listener here that has more comments than anything. So yeah, that's let's see how many comments. And I have a feeling that some bombs are going to be dropped once we get the 2 guests on the show, just by reading some of these responses that I've gotten. Both of them knew that, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm really excited to have both of them on tonight. I know Kat was really excited earlier today when I told her that people were sending in questions for her. And of course, Mark and I have been texting all day, kind of like what we normally do here. But I would be remiss if I did not say hello to my friends and my fellow outcasts, Sarah Brooke, Chloe, Delight, and of course Mark and Kat. We are the Outcast family. So, I'm the podcaster. Kat, Sarah, and Delight are the talent. Very talented. And Mark's just the asshole, he says. So we've been on the air for about 9.5 minutes, and I'm running out of things to say or things to really bring up, because I was hoping that at least one of my guests would bring up something. So if there are any cat fighters or session wrestlers or even pro wrestlers that listen to this show, and you'd like to be on the show, go ahead and drop me a line at WashingtonWrestleTalk@gmail.com, or if you have me on Instagram, the Instagram is Washington Wrestle. I didn't have enough space to put Wrestle Talk. I can't really use Wrestle Talk because that's already used by a company in England. Or if you have my Twitter, which is at Triple R Product, just send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm sure the fans would love to hear from you. However, I try to make it comfortable for everybody, I should say. Try to make everybody feel at ease, make them feel, like it's a fireside chat almost, just like two people chatting over, over coffee or tea or whatever, So, if you guys have any comments about the show and who you would like to hear on the show, let me know. I always welcome comments, suggestions. In fact, I got this one email about 4 days ago. So it says, "Hey there, it's been a little bit, but I've listened to a number of episodes with Brutal Beauties and Lyric and Adam. There was one with Adam. I think you were having issues with the phone because it was hard to hear at times with background noises. Okay, so I'm not a producer. I'm a fan who, after 6 custom videos and many purchase clips, decided to give something back. My platform goal is to show other fans how to give feedback and show support to producers and models. Feedback comes in most times in helping the sales of clips and customs with clever tweets that many producers enjoy and retweet. I do not support pirating clips, and I do not give negative feedback to a producer publicly on Twitter. Here's some neat information that might be helpful in growing your listening audience." I always appreciate the listening audience, any advice that anybody gives me. So, Amazon Alexa has gotten several updates the past months, and one has to do with podcasts. Yay! Now, using your voice, you can ask Alexa to play a podcast. So if I wanted to hear your podcast, I would just say, "Alexa, play Washington Wrestle Talk podcast." Alexa will then start playing the podcast just as if you were listening on the Spreaker website. By asking Alexa to play the current episode of that podcast, she will be the newest one. Okay. If you stop Alexa and come back, you can ask Alexa to continue, and she will keep going right where you left off the last time you listened. So no matter what Amazon product you have, whether it's an Echo speaker, Echo Dot, Kindle Fire, or on your phone, or even in your car, they can listen to the podcast just by asking her to play that. Anyhow, maybe you knew this. Myself, it is handy because I do not need a computer or iPod to listen to this podcast. I can do household tasks while listening. No website or link to remember. Thanks for your time, and I really look forward to hearing more producer on your show. Really enjoy listening. Sincerely, Al. Al, I want to thank you for that email. And that's not just good advice for me, but that's good advice to the listening audience here. Sorry, I'm texting Mark real quick here. I feel it's important for other listeners to share feedback about how they listen to the show. I know some of you listen to it from Twitter. Some of you listen to it from the Spreaker website. Some of you listen to it from other means, such as iHeartRadio, or as Al does, Alexa through Amazon. Some of you even listen to it through iTunes or Blueberry or whatever you may use. But that is a good thing. A good piece of advice for people. If you have an Amazon Echo, Echo